Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I've been waiting for this article for some time and I knew it will come, and unfortunately I have to use the person involved in this article, the victim, not the victim itself, but what the weasels are doing in the name of the victim. So the analysis is not on the victim, which is Khashoggi, but on a US stance on certain issues. So this article comes from The Hill, from October 2nd, 2022. Blinken, the Secretary of State of the United States of America, marks Khashoggi's murder as, quote-unquote, please pay attention, attack on freedom of expression everywhere. All right, Blinken. So, let's see. Mr. Blinken, this is how a value, because he makes it from a particular case, that particular case threatens an universal value, freedom of expression everywhere. So that killing of Khashoggi, if you're familiar, I'm assuming, with a Saudi journalist who migrated to the United States of America. He got a job over there as a journalist in a prominent news media outlet. He went to, in Turkey, to the embassy or consulate of Saudi Arabia, and is cut to pieces, never came out. Bad move. Then Mohammed bin Salman was accused of orchestrating all that and all that. Not gonna get into that. That was a horrible tragedy. A tragedy is horrible anyway, but anyway. And that for a human being in the first place. Secondly, we can attach it to him being killed because of his political views and his journalistic work. That's why he disappeared, okay? Now, he was a journalist. Blinken talks about freedom of expression wherever. So he defends, Blinken, seems to be a universalist. He likes values. Now, let me tell you how, Mr. Blinken, how values work. The values are not situational. And values are not based on preferences. Values just are, okay? So if you have as a value freedom of expression, you can't decry a crime committed against a journalist that you like, but do not decry a crime committed against a journalist that you don't like. You know how because that means you are not for the value. You are Blinken, a weasel, okay? Clear enough? All right. So if is a rape here against my neighbor, female, and I call it I like my neighbor, okay? Now I call it a rape. Now if the same person or someone else rapes the neighbor woman that I don't like, I will still consider it a crime, and it is. I don't care if I didn't like that woman, but I like this woman. You got it? That's how a value works, Blinken. Smack. Go back to the first class, first grade. Now, I have to remind Mr. Blinken of someone else that I didn't hear him condemning and defending the right of free expression wherever it might be. Well, let's call it Russia, Blinken, shall we? So, if you remember about 2 months ago maybe, a person called Daria Dugina. Sounds familiar, Blinken? No, because you're a retard. You don't have memory, but you are in charge of the foreign policy of the United States of America. Can you believe that? Now, Daria Dugina, all right, she was killed in August, late August, by a bomb. She was a journalist like Khashoggi, but you don't like Russia, therefore you don't like Dugina, because you probably don't like her father's political views. So that means Dugina, she was a journalist, so she qualified in that universal value that you talk about, right? But she was only 29 years old. You didn't care about her, you didn't say anything about her, you didn't mark her killing as anything, you zipped it. You're a attack on freedom of expression everywhere. Russia is inside the everywhere. And she had her freedom of expression, and she was blown into pieces by some guys in the name of Ukraine that you support. So how can I in good conscience like or support this guy. What kind of person this guy is. What kind of person? What kind of person you would be or I would be if I consider that guy who raped my neighbor that I like, label him as a rapist, criminal, what he is, but I don't label him as a rapist and what he is, a criminal, raping the neighbor I don't like. What kind of person am I then? These are the leaders of our country. These are the guys who are supposed to confront others and talk about values and talk about democracy and they talk about sovereignty of other countries, the right to defend yourself. When they talk about these, again, universal values and truth, I don't believe anything what these guys are saying. This is a prime example of this guy. What can I say? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. What did he, for instance, have against Dugina? Probably he doesn't even know, never heard of her probably. Or probably heard, oh, okay, whatever, blown to pieces. Is she Russian? Yeah. Probably, you know? So it's just an example. The same thing they do with talking about the sovereignty of Ukraine. You know, the borders, they recognize this and they recognize that they should not be. But the same people like Blinken, who ask us to shed blood and tears for Ukraine being invaded by evil Russia and therefore violate the sovereignty of Ukraine, the same people have armies in Syria. Again, Syria is a sovereign country as Ukraine, has borders as Ukraine, did not attack anybody as Ukraine. Why do you have occupation troops on their territory? About 1,900 and some. That's what they are eager to confirm, not how many they have. And it's not only the Americans being there. And what do those troops do? They oversee, make sure that the Syrian oil is extracted out of the Syrian territory, sucked and put into tankers, taken into Iraq, and from the Iraq on the market, and someone makes a profit. Not the Syrian people, not the legitimate government of Syria, but these guys. So how can I, Emil Kosman, look at these guys and care when they tell me that I should support Ukraine because of this and all that? I might support Ukraine for other reasons, but not for this guy. This is the bad dude to give me the news and try to get us all united. He's a weasel. He will leave me at the drop of a hat and leave me where I'm dying. This guy has no allegiance for anything that we know here. Definitely not for the values he tries to profess that he upholds. These are our team. These are our leaders. These are people who are in control of us. An appointed guy. This is an appointed guy. He's not even voted, this guy. Now, if this guy would be with me in the neighborhood when I was a kid or a young adult, okay, and in the schoolyard or neighborhood, he would get a fucking big beating. That's, I'm telling you. Fist one. If he can beat me, then I will avoid it. But nevertheless, I'm pretty sure I could beat the guy, so no problem with that, especially then. So this would be that kind of justice then. He would be out of the football game, soccer game. He would be out of the gangs. He would be just what he is, a weasel, a fake, a fraud, a phony. That's it. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.